What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already joined the fam, please do so now. Hit the subscribe button as I drop content daily, go live daily. Stay very busy on this platform. And last but not least, my favorite part of this game, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested and intrigued to what y'all got to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this work. As there's been a particular topic that I've been wanting to discuss for quite some time, but I kind of left it off the itinerary for now, just because there was so many other things going on in addition to the NFL season being concluded with the Kansas City Chiefs victory, them getting their second Super Bowl consecutively. I wanted them to get their time to enjoy it before we start talking about the possibility of a three-peat. Now, a lot of people probably may not be aware of this, but the three-peat has already happened in NFL history with my Packers. Proud to say, 1929 to 1931, we won 3 NFL championships, and from I forget the years, it's in the 60s somewhere. But the funny thing about the 60s championships, the first one was not won in the quote unquote Super Bowl era. The Super Bowl era would begin during the second championship run, which would have been the first championship run in the Super Bowl era. So we got 3 consecutively, but we got the first 2 in the Super Bowl era and was not able to essentially four-peat, in real time. But the three-peat has been accomplished in the NFL. What has not been accomplished is the three-peat within the Super Bowl era, which is an opportunity presented to the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs, a team that I thoroughly enjoy, I thoroughly support. I lived in Texas for some time, so I was able to watch Patrick Mahomes come up, in East Texas. Seeing him come up from a young man, play some baseball. He could have been a pro either way, end up being a professional football player. And I've been very supportive of Patrick Mahomes. I thought that he'd be a great player for sure. Never did I see him doing as much as he's doing now. And not even just doing as much as he's doing now, but as far as him being one of the all-time great historic players of the NFL. And I don't think anybody's seen this coming. But at the same time, he's presented with an opportunity that has never happened in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, and company have an opportunity to put themselves in a particular spot in history where they will only be, in this particular space of history. There is no Tom Brady's, no Patriots, no Belichick's, no 49ers, no Cowboys. It would just be these 2024 Kansas City Chiefs and nobody else. But I wanted to go down the board as far as some things that I feel like could hold them back from getting this championship, and there's as well some reasons why I think they can get it. The number one reason I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs probably won't three-peat is just because the competition around them. Everybody's gotten better. When you look at the AFC alone, just some teams off the top of my mind, off the top of my head anyway, the Ravens gotten a lot better. I don't think you can discount the addition of Derrick Henry. And also, I know they got somebody else. I just can't think of them off the top of my mind. But you also got Zay Flowers over there, and the Ravens about to have another, I'm sure, breakout season after last season. You got the Texans, who I feel like are dangerous. I feel like the Houston Texans are right there, along with my Green Bay Packers, as far as being a young gunner in the NFL that's going to be competing with the heavy hitters, and may be one of the heavy hitting teams themselves, juggernauts themselves in a few short years. But I feel like the Texans as well. There was another team I cannot think of. The Bills. No, not the Bills. I think those are just the two AFC teams I had in my notes that are my number one and number two threats to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, not so much with the Texans, as I feel like they're still a year or two off their calendar before they are Super Bowl ready per se. But you always got to watch out for them as they can sneak in and take you out. And the number one team, I feel like, to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs are the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like Lamar Jackson has had his worst games on the biggest stages or during his biggest games, I should say. But I feel like Derrick Henry can relieve a lot of that pressure off of him, and hopefully we'll see. At the end of the day, it's on the schematics as well because last season the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the Ravens were the number one rushing team in the league, and then against the Chiefs, it just seemed like they went totally away from their bread and butter. So we'll see how that goes as well. But I feel like Lamar Jackson, one of these years, is gonna get over the hump. He reminds me a lot of Peyton Manning as far as him being a generational talent that just seems to never be able to get everything put in place for him to be, at the next in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. But I feel like Peyton Manning as well, eventually he'll get over the hump. It's gonna take him some time, but um, he and the Baltimore Ravens are the number one threat. I feel like to this team as well as the Bengals. Excuse me, that's what I was thinking of earlier. That was my third team. Now the Bengals are, they got two wide receivers that are looking for big money, so that could play in their favor or play against them. Depending on how upset they are. But I feel like the Bengals have another run in them. To come into to the NFL season loaded and give their a strike at it. They were the one team to take the take the Chiefs into overtime and defeat them. So, Joe Burrow to me, without being injured, I feel like he is potentially, I can't just give him the title until he earns it. But I feel like out of all of the NFL quarterbacks in the league, Joe Burrow is the one best suited to take out Patrick Mahomes and company. As much as I like Josh Allen, as much as I like Lamar Jackson, of course, CJ Stroud. I don't know why I was going to say Chase Young. The young guy, I guess I was thinking CJ Stroud. All of these guys have the talent, generational talent to compete with Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like Joe Burrow is the only one that has the whole complete um, package, if you will, to take out the Chiefs. But the Chiefs defense is looking like, well, it was young. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say it like this: they were young last season, but also elite, and never has the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs had a good offense and a good defense in the same season. So, and the close they got to it was 2020. But we'll see what they can do this season. This is probably the best chance that they'll have at having a good offense and good defense. But they did lose L'Jarius Sneed. I feel like they could have had the best offseason of all the NFL teams if they found a way to keep him. With the additions of Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, such and such. I feel like if they was able to add those guys and then keep L'Jarius, that would have been, great for them. But again, their defense is young, and I feel like they can re-up. Still got Chris Jones, to leading the way. So we'll see how that happens. Um, Another reason why I feel like the Chiefs probably won't get the championship is just it's very difficult, to get through the NFL minefield one time. It almost seems like you get lucky if you can go back to back, as more, there's been more teams to do it that way. Last team to win back to back, I believe, was the 2003 2004 New England Patriots. Of course, that was with the young Tom Brady. And there's been several teams that have had an opportunity to three-peat. I believe the Steelers the 60s or the 70s Steelers, one of those. You had the Dolphins, I believe it's 1972 Dolphins. Did they go back to back? And then the 49ers, I remember for sure that as far as my era goes, I recall when the 49ers was on top of the world and they had an opportunity to win in 1990. Do a three-peat, but it's very difficult to navigate the minefield in the NFL. You know, you're talking about injuries, you're talking about, uh, contract issues, which we just seen with L'Jarius Sneed. And then you got, well, I think a lot of people aren't really taken for granted as far as if you do add some new pieces, these guys weren't there with you all when you was running the first two Super Bowls. For Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, guys of that ilk. This is going to be their first Super Bowl run, so they probably don't have the same uh, how am I trying to say it? The same hunger to an extent, or they won't feel the same pain that you all feel since you've been there since the beginning, watching this whole thing come together. Especially since it was, the three-peat is, the opportunity for a three-peat has come, during life after Tyreek Hill, when a lot of people felt like the Chiefs probably would have fallen off, after losing such a great receiver like him. Um, just a lot of emotional um, um, a lot of emotional equity invested. And I think that it's going to take some time for a young guy like Xavier Worthy to get acclimated into the offense, to be an actual Super Bowl contributor, to that level. Same for Marquise Brown, although I think he has a little bit more experience, of course. I think it won't take him as long to get acclimated, but it's still going to be some, some real time, real in the game chemistry that need to be built between these guys and Patrick Mahomes. Pacheco, the running back, I'm glad that they still got that young man. I feel like he is a key component to this whole thing, as well as he's been a great contributor in the backfield for the Chiefs, not just as a running back, but as a pass catcher as well, especially considering how thin the receiver core was last season. They were still able to get the job done. And of course, this whole legal issue with Rashee Rice. As it looks like the NFL could possibly suspend him, there's still been no word about the issue. If y'all don't know, he was involved in a car accident, a hit and run, actually. So there are some legal ramifications that come with that, and they're still being decided. So I think like that, those distractions, if you will, those things looming around the team could definitely play a part. But the one reason why I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs can win the Super Bowl is not because of the aging great tight end, Travis Kelce, although I feel like at 35, he could be the first tight end to put up an 1,000-yard season. I don't think Travis Kelce's best playing days are done yet. A lot of people are writing him off. I think more so because of his injuries that he's been able to compile these last few seasons. I think that Travis Kelce got a little bit more juice in the orange, man. Me personally, so I do think that Travis Kelce can still be a factor. I think that Andy Reid can solidify himself as one of the greatest coaches ever. But the number one reason that I feel like this thing is going to come together is because of Patrick Mahomes elevating his team. Patrick Mahomes, man, is really carving out himself to be the Michael Jordan of this era in the NFL. Really fastly putting together a resume that's arguable with one Tom Brady. The one guy that everybody on consensus, I would think, says is the best NFL player of all time, the GOAT. Um, Fastly, like I said, Patrick Mahomes is giving him some. Excuse me. Patrick Mahomes is quickly giving himself, some leverage in the GOAT debate. I don't know where I was trying to go with that one, but between him and Tom Brady, there's not been a real argument up until this point. You can kind of, if you're a Patrick Mahomes fanboy, you can probably, emotionalize the conversation and make yourself believe that Mahomes has done more than Brady. But at this point, no. And in the near future, though, I don't think we'll be able to say the same, especially if Patrick Mahomes is able to three-peat, do something that Tom Brady was not able to do. Um, although Tom Brady played in a tougher era, respectfully, at least the first half of his career, he played in some of that rough and tough NFL that they did away with. But as far as Patrick Mahomes and this era goes, man, like I said, he's giving himself a case, and with a three-P like this, he definitely will. Uh, He'll probably get my vote. Right now, I still lean a little bit more towards Tom Brady. But I think that, you can't count out 15 in red, and of all the reasons why I think they can't do it, he's always the reason why I think that they can. Even last season, when he was having a down year, they had that ugly loss to the Raiders and on the Christmas game, had an ugly loss to the Denver Broncos, just uncalled for. I said you can't count out 15, man. And I think I was consistent in that. And he right on time. He made me look great as far as me not giving up faith in him with those 4 games that he put together to win another Super Bowl. Because nobody remembers the tantrum now that he threw about the referees against the Bills, when they would face the Bills. Nobody remembers that tantrum, or at least if you do, you can't really say nothing now because all of that's a part of the legacy of the legendary second Super Bowl year run. You can't really say nothing to that, but congratulations. So, again, with all the reasons why I think the Kansas City Chiefs may not win the championship, I'm starting to strongly feel like Patrick Mahomes, again, is turning himself into the Michael Jordan of this era. All of the flaws that the Bulls had during the 90s, all of the controversy that surrounded those teams, the drama. You always knew that Mac number 23 in red was good. To go to work and whatever else was going on, he was the number one problem. So he can nullify all that stuff. That's what Patrick Mahomes has been showing me during these Super Bowl runs, and I think if they do it a third time, it's going to be on his shoulders once again. So I just wanted to make a video talking about this. Of course, it's almost that time to start getting into this NFL content full time. So I will be covering the Super Bowl champions and doing a lot more speculation, getting into the defensive nuances, the offensive nuances, breaking down these teams, not just the Chiefs, but other teams in the NFL. Of course, my Packers as well. We'll be talking about them. So I just had to give the Super Bowl champs their just due before I start kicking off this full-time NFL content. But that's all I got for y'all on this video. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, join the fam as I drop content daily, go live daily. Stay very busy on this platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested to know what you all think about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.